Hello, it is I, the Christmas Undertaker. I just got home from Elf, the performance, and it went really well. I cocked up the song that I always cock up, so no big shocker there. And I made a few silly little mistakes, but they were forgetting their lines and ad-libbing a lot tonight that they weren't doing last night. I don't know what it is about the second night of a show, that it's always just a little bit flatter. And there are a few mistakes with props and that kind of thing. But a lot of children from the deaf school near St Albans came to see the show and got chatting away to them afterwards, and they really enjoyed the show. So that was good. That's a good thing. I had to cough. I had a really dry throat. I'm on the downside of this cold now, thank goodness. But they kind of pump out this, it's kind of like a powder, but they say it's like to dehumidify the place, but it really isn't. So anyway, halfway through the first act, you know when you get that really dry sensation in your throat where you have to cough? There's no alternative, you just have to do it. But you know that as soon as you start, you're not going to be able to stop. So I was trying to swallow like mad to try and get some saliva down my throat. And in the end, I just let out these two kind of barking coughs. I had to. It was between numbers, so it was okay. And then I got like this tear. Like, oh my God. And I thought, I am going to start like retching if I start coughing. So I tried with sheer force of will, I stopped myself from coughing again. Thank goodness. The second half went a lot better than the first half, which isn't usually the case. Usually it's the first half that goes better than the second, because I've usually practiced the first half more than the second. But yeah, the second half went really, really well. And yeah, I got a good reaction from the crowd at the end. And then, as I said, I was chatting to some of the deaf kids who just really, really loved the show. You know, they couldn't stay long because it's like 10 o'clock. They had to go home for bed. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I don't think I did as well as I could have. I never think that. Gonna have a milkshake. Post-show milkshake, it is now a tradition. I don't think I ever think that I do particularly well, but I could have done better. And I think had I had my ADHD medication over the past 2 weeks, I would have practiced more. I would have practiced more often. And I would have tried a lot harder. I mean, I tried hard anyway, but yeah, not overly satisfied with my performance, to be honest with you. Not necessarily performance tonight, you know, yeah. But I'm not happy with the process and how often I practiced or didn't. So it's done. We move along. And I'm going to have a rest this weekend and just go and do all of the things that I haven't been able to do over the last couple of weeks. Stuff like shopping, you know, walking outdoors, get some sunshine in my head, get some vitamin D, and just get back to feeling like myself now that I am back to being medicated. And then we start White Christmas next week. Yay, White Christmas. I like White Christmas because it's, a lot of the numbers in it are like big production numbers, and it's going to be so much fun to watch. The songs are going to be easier because I already know them, and they're sort of like 1950s verse, chorus, big dance section, verse, chorus, the end. So I think I'm going to have to concentrate on the words more in White Christmas, because the plot is not explained through the songs, it's explained like in words. So I'm going to have to work at what they're talking about more. And the most difficult thing I think about White Christmas is, how do I give them sign names? Because they're all like these vanilla people and like don't have any, like it's okay with Buddy, he's an elf. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that. It'll probably come to me in a dream, possibly. So I'm going to take off all of the wonderful, look at this, the makeup. I'm getting better at the makeup, gotta say. If I did a show every week, I'd end up like having my own YouTube channel, probably. So yeah, I did a bit of the contouring, call me Boy George. So yeah, I'm going to take the makeup off. I'm going to finish my milkshake. I'm going to have a decent night's sleep. And then I'm going to try and get back into my routine of having a decent night's sleep every night. And then I'm going to start White Christmas next week. And then I'm going to my first White Christmas rehearsal on Monday night. So I'm sure I'll report back to you during the process, especially if I got stuck on something. There's a couple of songs in it that they use quite, not flowery language, but a lot of metaphor. And I'm not quite sure how to do those, but it'll come to me. And there's learning some of the states, because they talk about some of the United States. So I've had this idea that like Miami, I'm going to spell it in American Sign Language, and Vermont. But I've never done any American Sign Language before, so I'm going to have to practice that, aren't I? So yeah, I don't think I did as good a job as I could have. But circumstances being what they were, I did as good a job as I could. And that's that. The tie can go back on the rack, and I will get out my white Christmas tie, which has Christmas trees on it. It's very tasteful, actually, and I might change it because it's a little bit too tasteful for the likes of me. And then, yeah, just another one bites the dust, as they say.